Hi, thanks for coming today and watching this video. Today we're going over using the HTML editor in ACT Marketing Automation. If you haven't worked with me before, my name is Kelly Solomon. I'm an ACT certified consultant here at AspenTech. I'm also MOS certified, which basically means that I'm certified in the ACT Marketing Automation program by ACT. I do want to remind people we do have a two-part webinar series, the basics of going over ACT Marketing Automation. This webinar is just going over a tiny aspect we do not cover in those two classes. So I did put some links up there if you want to take those classes. Again, we're just going over the HTML editor. We go over the normal, air quotes there, drag and drop editor in our ASPW Skill Builder webinar series. So you can see here, I'm in ACT right now. I'm in Marketing Automation here in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm in Marketing Automation, it's highlighted there. I happen to have gone to the email templates area in the top middle there. Now, I did mention there's two types of templates, so I just want to do a quick overview of both types. Like here is a drag and drop template. If I go to edit that one, again, the drag and drop editor we go over in our ACT Marketing Automation webinars. Takes a second to load. And this is the quote unquote normal editor people would use. They would like drag and drop, put rows in, change things. You can go in and edit things and so forth. The one thing I do want to point out is that you can convert drag and drop templates to HTML. I'm also going to use this as an example to get some code to import in, as if to pretend it was like a designer sending it to me. Now, if you've ever taken a class with me before, I always say keep these links here. I'm going to break my rules here and take these out so I can show you when I re-import this back in, how to manually put those back in. Because obviously, if you have a graphic designer designing, those links aren't going to be there in what they give you. So I'm in my drag and drop editor. To convert this to HTML, we go to switch to WYSIWYG. Now, if you're wondering what WYSIWYG is, it stands for what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. In short, I call it the HTML. It's much easier to say. So I'm going to say switch to WYSIWYG. And now you notice I don't have that drag and drop thing on the side. I just have, it looks the same, but you notice here, if I go to the HTML button in the middle, it's a bunch of code. And it doesn't mean anything to you, most likely, unless you're a designer, but it's basically all the code in the background behind how this template is made in the background. Whoops. So I'm going to delete that on purpose. So now I could press save. I could even use this in a campaign as is. Now, what I can do here also is I can, do Control A, Control C. So I have that text now. I have it on my clipboard. Now, what I could do is I could maybe open a new text document. I'm going to call this HTML example 2. And what I would do, this comes up my other screen. Let me drag it over. I'm just going to paste that in. Again, that's all that text that didn't mean anything to you, but it's important to the editor. So your graphic designer may, or your corporate office may send you templates pre-built that they want you to use. They will usually send it to you either in a text or notepad file like this, or it may come over in this HTML file format. So if I double click on this, it will open up in here, it opened up in Chrome. Now, obviously, if we wanted to use this in AMA, we need to get the actual code behind the scenes as opposed to this. So what you would do is right click on that and say open with Notepad. And then you get all of this, okay? So this is the one we're gonna pretend that our graphic designer sent to us. Now this is already in Notepad, so I don't have to do that open with. I can just, you know, I'm gonna do Control A, Control C, or you can copy like this if that's easier for you to right click. I'm gonna go back into AMA. So let's pretend I want to make a brand new template. My graphic designer just sent me that code to use. What I would do is go to New Template. And what you want, and this is really important, is click this one column WYSIWYG. One column WYSIWYG. Don't pick anything else. And then do Continue. You're going to give it a name, like HTML example 2. Notice here it says editor WYSIWYG. It's important. As you pick the correct selection in that previous step, press save, and I'm going to get a blank email. So now now I'll go to this HTML button in the middle here, and all I need to do is paste in Control V all that text. I go back to design, boom, all of a sudden my design is there. So all I did is I opened up that file my graphic designer sent me. I Control A to select everything, Control C copy, and then I made a new template in AMA. I used the WYSIWYG template editor where it was blank. I went into the HTML button in the middle here and I pasted that in, went back to design, and boom, everything was there. Now, remember I mentioned that you always have to have those links in your email. Now, if your graphic designer is sending this to you, designing it in Adobe or some other software, obviously they're not going to have the links to do your unsubscribed and your addresses that AMA needs. So you need to put those back in. So I have a text box here. So to get those special links back, you go to Merge Fields. Select Merge Fields, and I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. Here's my unsubscribe link. Insert. Then I also need my company address, company name, and my company address. So I'm going to go to Merge Fields again. Again, scroll all the way to the bottom. Your company name, insert, and your company address. Now, if you're not familiar with why these are there, I recommend taking our AMA Skill Builder webinar class. These three have to be there. So you're gonna have to put in your unsubscribe link, your company name, and your company address. Now, if they have already put in links to some things, you may want to break these hyperlinks and recreate them in the editor. So I might want to remove the link. And then I probably would want to recreate that. Maybe it's www.aspentech.com. Now this is so that it tracks the clicks properly. And I would do that for any links that they put in the template. And now I would do actions, save. Now, one thing that the HTML editor does not have that the drag and drop does have, the drag and drop editor has a shortcut here to create a campaign. With HTML, it does not unfortunately have that. Requested from Act. more people ask for it, the odds of it coming in here are higher. So let's say I wanted to use this template in a campaign now. Since I don't have that shortcut there, I would go to campaigns. I'm going to make a new campaign. I'm going to start with a blank. I'm going to call this HTML example 2. I can do other things here, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to fast forward. Pick my send group. I'm going to keep these as my default, but you can obviously change them in yours. So now I have one simple email campaign. Now I have to tell it which template to use. So I click on the box here, edit email content. You may have to pick it from the dropdown depending where you are. Press go. So now I need to pick that template I made a few minutes ago in the editor. First of all, I need to tell it to use the HTML editor. So I'm going to say switch to WYSIWYG, or switch to the HTML editor. Now, if you just want to skip that previous step, you could go straight here and just copy and paste it in. But for this example, I want to show you how to get the one I made earlier. You would say import my template. So that's going to look for templates I have over here in my templates area proper up top. And the WYSIWYG one falls under sales, and HTML example 2 is the one I just made a few minutes ago. So I'm just going to back up here. So I made I selected to edit the email content. I switched it to WYSIWYG on the dropdown. Then I said import my templates. Change this to sales. And then I picked the template I made a few minutes ago. I do import. And that is the one I made a few minutes ago in the template area. And I can also go in here and change the code. Or like I mentioned, you could skip the entire first step if you wanted to and just do it here. So I'm going to do save. You could always send a test to yourself and so forth from here. But let's pretend that I am done with this. I've sent my tests. If I hit activate, I'm probably going to get an error because I did not put in a subject line. I like showing these errors in here because it's a common question we get. So if you can see these big X's, don't panic. Actually read what's in the red. Your subject line is the default. Please change before sending. And so this little link down here is a shortcut to tell you which email has that issue. So I click on that. I go up here to actions and properties. So I clicked on that shortcut to get me back to the template that had the issue. I go to actions and properties. And you notice here, subject. Nice, pretty subject line. I'm going to do update and return. And now you notice this is grayed out. I can now activate the campaign. And because I set this as instantaneous, it's pulling from the people that were in my group, pulling that HTML design and sending it out soon. It should start going out in a few minutes. All right, so that is everything with the HTML editor. And I thank you for watching today, and come back more. We're going to start making more of these short videos for you all.